friends were stealing pills from their parents, like, Vicodins and stuff like that. And surely out of just like the boredom and accessibility that we all had there. And like I'm sure it was much like still pretty bad in the city, but it's weird in a small town when everybody knows each other. So like you see the impact that one person's gonna have on an entire community, especially in like a place that was only like 2,000 population. So
yeah.
I do have to pee though. Hold on.
If you feel nervous, just sing Judas Priest. Michael, we just met today, and we're here in Lutz Tavern in Portland. And you said you've lived in this area your entire life.
yeah,
But you didn't grow up in Portland, right?
in Portland, in Estacada.
In Estacada. So what was it like growing up in Estacada?
There's a lot of like nice memories, but when you get older, they all just kind of fucking suck. So like, it's just no, really, like I mean, like it was a beautiful town, and I had like a lot of like great friends growing up and everything, and then like my family, like they wanted to like do the best for us that we can, but like just still wasn't always like the perfect sort of scenario, especially getting into like late middle school into high school, and being that small town, a lot of our friends, like close friends that grown up with my entire fucking life, got really into popping pills, and which led to a lot of my friends having a gnarly heroin addiction, and I've probably lost a couple of friends to heroin addiction, and still kind of have a lot of resentment of being in that small town. So that's why that was my like main like driving force to get the fuck out, because I didn't want to be a part of any of that anymore. So,
Yeah. What were the things about Estacada that were beautiful to you, at least like originally? Because you said it was beautiful at first.
Yeah. Well, we had everything there, I grew up next to a giant fucking park that led into the actual town of Estacada, so we had the river right there. Loved to have the hike on, just like friends being all around, like in a small town, so you can kind of just go to whoever's house, and just sort of stuff like that,
Yeah.
Just like those fond memories. Before like everything shitty started to happen, so
yeah. Why do you? And if you don't want to go into this, we don't have to.
yeah.
But do you think that there was anything about that town or about growing up in a small town that led people that you knew into like the trajectory that you talked about, like doing drugs and getting into heroin? Like, why was that a pattern that you saw?
I think a lot of it was probably them being, well, a lot of them came from really broken families, so I think that's an initial like sort of start to like addiction, and I've never really had much of like a problem with addiction before, so I'm just like from my outside perspective, I think it was a lot of boredom and easy access from the people who we'd start with like just buying like weed from, and then maybe like a few months later they're starting to deal like Vicodin, Dilaudid, like and it became easier access. My friends were stealing pills from their parents, like Vicodins and stuff like that, and surely out of just like the boredom and accessibility that we all had there. So
Yeah.
and like I'm sure it was much like still pretty bad in the city, but it's weird in a small town when everybody knows each other. So like you see the impact that one person's gonna have on an entire community, especially in like a place that was only like 2,000 population. So
Yeah. I worked with someone who grew up in Deer Lodge, Montana. Never heard of it, right?
no,
And he talked about it in a very similar way. Like, basically that there was nothing there. He didn't, I don't think he even had like the nature that you described.
no,
And basically said that like people got into, either they did drugs or they did like crime because there was just nothing else to do.
yeah.
So yeah, I think what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, like but in those small towns, there's like a certain test you have to pass, and that's not to get a job in that small town. Like after you graduate, or even fucking drop out of high school, you don't get a job there. You're gonna be fucking stuck there. You're gonna get a fucking addiction there. Like a lot of people who I knew that still stayed there, like drug addicts, alcoholics, have kids, and the combination of all three of those. So like it becomes a very ugly like situation. So. Yeah, but I don't know if that's just. I'm pretty sure a lot of small towns have the same sort of problem too.
Yeah. So, Estacada, and then you live in Portland now.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So, what's it like living in Portland?
No, Jesus.
And I know that we just had a conversation with Allison, and she has lots of feelings about it. But it sounds like, based on where you grew up, Portland could be a place that's really hopeful and really like a refuge from the kind of like boredom and being stuck. So I just hope you feel open to talk about it in any way that you truly feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know, like it was cool living out of Estacada into Portland when I was 19 or 20, I forgot. I actually lived in Seattle for a few months right after high school when I got out of Estacada. When the love of my life, my high school girlfriend, broke up with me, I was like, I moved to Seattle, man. Like,
what neighborhood were you in?
Around Ballard.
That's where I live now.
Oh no shit! So yeah, we're off of like was it Greenwood Avenue?
Yes, that's where I grew up.
In Dibble Street or some shit like that.
I don't know Dibble.
Yeah, I was only there for like 3 or 4 months, so like I couldn't make it in Seattle.
It's tough.
It wasn't meant to be, but
yeah.
But anyway, like, so was in Seattle, out of my comfort zone because I was a depressed fucking 19-year-old who didn't have any hope for the future and still don't.
Yeah.
But no, then moving to Portland, like, it was cool at first. Like, it was a sense of like, cool. Like, I have a lot more exposure to things that I was like not used to living in Estacada, and like, like I try to put all of like a lot of my past friends behind because I wanted nothing to do with like the drug issues. Like I just was sick of that. I never really had to deal with too much addiction myself, but and then getting here and seeing like, I don't know, like when I first moved here from sorry, I'm jumping all over the fucking place, man.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open-ended.
Yeah.
I think that is how this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so going from Estacada to Portland, skipping the Seattle part, going to Portland, it was fucking cheap, man. The first apartment I was living at was $700, 2-bedroom apartment. Yes, just outside of like in between Portland, Clackamas, and Milwaukee. They all kind of fucked right there. But we had this apartment for $700 a month, 2-bedroom, and it was
a 2-bedroom for $700.
Believe it or not, yeah. This was maybe like a little more than 10 years ago, and And so I had that freedom, you know, I was making pretty good money, like, at that point I had a miserable fucking job, and, as much as I was miserable with a job, like, being, like, you know, I can go to shows whenever I want to, instead of making an event of it, like, leaving Estacada, trying to figure out how I'm getting there and getting back, like, you know, and it just, like, I don't know, it was cheap, and it kind of gave you hope. And then, like, over the years, you know, every 5 years, I think it makes a huge step of just like, wow, this is fucking expensive. I don't know all these people open, like, you know, it just, it's a different feeling, like, I don't know, every few years, it's just kind of like, it feels like it gets worse and worse and worse, and like, I feel trapped here because I'm comfortable here, and I'm like, and that's the thing I need to work on, is getting out of my comfort zone. So like, I don't know if that answered your question. I'm just like, I get very camera shy, so like, it reminds me of the Boy Scouts. No.
Oh, no!
I'm joking.
Oh, no!
I only made it to the Cub Scouts. Like,
No! Oh, god damn.
Anyway.
I love
Holy
this guy.
Well, so I know that in like popular culture, you talk about what it, like, you get comfortable, right? And that's a bad thing, to be comfortable. But I think it can actually be like a really radical thing to just be like, I'm comfortable. And that's nice. And I'm just gonna allow myself to enjoy the place that I'm in. But it sounds like you have complicated feelings about that. Like, are there certain things that are like changing that you really don't want to be comfortable with? Or do you just wish that you had explored outside of Portland?
Yeah, I really wish I explored a lot more, because I've only seen the West Coast pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know what else is out there, and like, growing up here, like, it's just like, it's easy to get locked in that comfort zone, especially when like all of your friends live here. My parents live 30 miles outside of Estacada. Like, I have like an obligation, I feel, to stay here, and I don't like that, especially seeing how everything here just keeps getting more and more expensive, and I have to cater to everybody else's fucking behaviors and like, and everything, and it's just like, it doesn't feel the same, like, and I don't know.
Yeah. I feel that way about Seattle. So I work at a private school. Something a lot of people don't know is that private school teachers actually make a lot less money than public school teachers do.
No shit, why is that?
It's like a trade-off between, like, you have a lot of kids and a really stressful work environment versus a small group of kids whose families have a lot of resources, and it's a lot less stressful. And so private schools don't have to be as competitive about paying their teachers. And also private schools, like, I don't actually have a degree in teaching. I studied philosophy, and I was able to like sneak my way in. I wouldn't be able to do that in a public school. So, but where I'm going with all this is, like, I know how it feels to see, like, the city that I grew up in, and I've always lived in Seattle my entire life. And I know that in my current career path, I will never be able to afford a home in Seattle. Ever. Like, not even close. And that's really frustrating. And there's such an influx of people coming into the city who make so much more money than I do. And I know that the prices will always go up and up and up. And so I hear you when you say, like, things are changing, people are coming.
And like, well, it's hard to even like want to think about focusing on like, what is my career gonna be? Like, where am I gonna own a house at, when that doesn't seem achievable right now whatsoever? Especially like, during the pandemic, being fucking unemployed, and also like me, like being a musician and like other fucking random odd jobs I've had, like it doesn't seem achievable, but it's just like you have to do something to like kick yourself in the ass to like just fucking get out there, sport. You can do it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Do you do that to yourself too? Like, what do you like? Do do you ever want to imagine yourself owning a house like in Seattle? Like, what would you do, to get there? Like, I just like.
No, that's good. You're turning it around. I like it. Yeah, that's good. I think we should question the power dynamics in the interview thing. I dream of, honestly, and I don't think I've told many people this, but like I dream of owning my childhood home in Greenwood, near where you live. I would love it if I could do that. And it's a shitty house.
Yeah.
I drive by it like maybe once a month, and it has the same paint job that it had when I was 10 years old.
Okay, yeah.
But I can't and wouldn't be able to afford that house. It's probably going to get steamrolled and turn into a big apartment building soon. And so I literally, you asked, is that something that I think about? I wish that I could, but I don't. The realistic thing for me is I want to live in an apartment building where my landlord doesn't fuck me, and I want to be able to just be a good teacher and impact kids' lives in a positive way, and maybe not always just doing that for the wealthiest families.
Yeah.
But that's really hard.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's hard to do because, like I said, I don't have the degree or the credentials to do that. So, and I'm not trying to say that my experience is the same as yours. I think it's very different.
Yeah.
I do have a defined career path and a salary. And I'm so lucky. I have a summer break, so I can do this. It's hard when you have certain things that you want and that are sold to you as this is what you should do in life.
Yeah.
And you're in a city that you really care about and that you've always lived in.
Yeah.
And you can't do what everyone's telling you should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I turned the table on that. I didn't mean to interview you, man. I'm trying to pretend that's not there. So
that's fine.
So it's gonna be really weird. Luckily, I don't have to scratch my balls right now yet.
This will probably be the most interesting video I make.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know if you want to talk more about Portland. I know that there's so much more that you could probably say because it sounds like you have a complicated relationship with this city.
I don't know. I just feel from growing up here, pretty much I have to cater to everybody's sort of needs out here. Even when I'm not putting myself out there to do that, it's I have to pick and choose the people that I want to be able to talk to and who I know that I can have a real conversation with, as opposed to just walking on eggshells and pretending that I have, I don't know,
is it because of how politically charged Portland can be? Or
yeah.
Don't let me put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean a PC culture and I lean very far left and everything, and I feel I have some sense of obligation to always and I should always watch what I'm saying around everybody, and it's not I'm saying racist shit or sexist shit or anything left and right, but I mean
We're good.
I always figure out something new that's just hey, don't say that sort of thing, and oh, I wasn't trying to, or
yeah.
I don't know, and I think because I don't know, man, yeah.
It's hard to talk about.
Yeah.
And even if you're a person who's trying really hard to say the right thing and who deeply believes in equity and anti-racism and all of that, I think it sometimes feels you can never quite get it right, which is probably true
Yeah.
because no one has reached anti-racism nirvana.
Yeah.
But
No one ever will.
but it's a hard thing when like
I'm trying not to sing right now.
No,
Yeah.
sing. Please sing.
No.
I've never heard you sing.
Oh yeah, you have.
so you shared with me earlier that like you're half Latino.
Yeah.
I think that there's something very odd when someone who is biracial, who like has probably experienced some kind of marginalization, feels like they are being held accountable by like a group of people who are probably mostly white, and like to just like live up to a certain standard of political correctness. I don't know. It's hard to articulate this. I don't know what your experience has been like.
I mean, I just wish that half Mexican, half white mixed thing of all the English, Scottish, English, Scottish, Irish. Got loud.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like, and I'm not educated either. Like, I had up to high school education, but like, I don't know all the fucking proper words to say. Like, it's just like something new comes out every fucking week, and like, I have no time to get some fucking wiggle room. It's like, can you understand? I'm an empathetic person. I care about you. I
I'm not like a
support you.
social media person.
I'm not a social media person either.
Yeah.
And like that fucking leaves me in the dust too, man. And like people just can't understand that like there's so much like I love you, respect you, I want to give you like everything I can, but like just give me some wiggle room, man. Like just like I just want you to know that. And like as you brought up too, like I don't really have a lot of a social media presence or like I pay attention to a lot of shit, so it's just like I do my best, and like I'm accepting, like I just like I'm not hip with it,
And that's similar to what Saul said. The person I interviewed from Indiana, he said that he's someone who struggles with a lot of anxiety, and he talks about that in his video.
Yeah.
And he said that as someone who has that one particular challenge, the fact that things are always changing is really hard.
Yeah.
And that in itself is an equity issue, right?
Yeah.
To then turn to somebody who has a real mental health challenge and say like you need to change the way you're talking all the time, there's something really ironic about that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
We just met.
Yep.
It shows so much trust, and I'm gonna follow you.
All right.
Home.
Not home. I want to hear the beautiful guitar music that Allison described to me when we were talking.
Oh, you were taking a crap.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for listening to my scatterbrain answers. My first time ever being interviewed.
Oh my god, it was awesome.